On NDTV, we take conflict and war very seriously. We do not indulge in juvenile exaggerations, cartoonish dramatics, or something that requires sober analysis. No exaggeration there. But there's honestly no exaggerating what's happening between Iran and Israel right now, is there? And there's very credible reason to believe that things could spiral. That is the nature of war. If this conflict escalates into a larger regional war, or even a limited global conflict that goes beyond just the region, keep in mind these 10 pointers I've distilled from the current exchange and why the world, us in India and everywhere else, should be worried. Number one, first, this time Israel didn't just strike the proxies or facilities, it hit deep inside Iran, directly targeting that country's nuclear infrastructure for the first time ever. That alone changes this game completely. Second, Iran hasn't held back either. It's been launching swarms of ballistic and hypersonic weapons, some at Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. A deliberate step into uncharted and dangerously escalatory territory. Third, one of the strikes reportedly killed senior commanders in Iran's elite Quds force. Tehran sees this not as a skirmish, but as a belligerent act of war. Number four, Israel is now said to have used its F-35 stealth fighters, which it has done before, but never to this effect, for deep strikes on its nuclear facilities, signaling both capability and intent to cripple Iran's strategic depth. Number five, civilians are paying the price. Multiple Israeli towns have been hit. In Iran, retaliatory drone attacks caused casualties. In densely populated areas, there have been civilian casualties on both sides for the first time. 6, American bases in Iraq and Syria have already come under attack from Iran-backed militias. That pulls Washington closer to the firestorm, whether it wants to or not. And remember, Trump has offered once again to mediate. Number 7, Lebanon's Hezbollah and Syria's militias are opening new fronts. The battleground is no longer bilateral. It's a regional chain reaction that could spiral even in a post-Bashar Assad scenario. Number 8, there are even reports of Iran's navy confronting Israeli vessels in the Red Sea. This could become a maritime flashpoint with huge energy and trade safety implications. Number 9, countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are scrambling missile defenses. Neither wants to be dragged in, but one misstep, one misfire, one stray drone, and West Asia could ignite interminably. And finally, number 10, the dangerous elephant in the room. Russia and China are publicly backing Iran's stance, calling Israel the aggressor. The fault lines are global, so this is no longer just about two rivals exchanging missiles and drones. There's something existential about this time's crossfire. This is about a region teetering on the edge and the terrifying possibility that the next missile might not just hit a nuclear depot or city, but trigger a cascade that takes the world past the point of no return. And I want to take your attention to some dramatic footage that was captured by the passenger of a flight headed to Dubai. Remember, airspace over Iran is closed, but these are pictures of Iranian missiles, footage released by Iranian state television of an armada of Iranian missiles taking to the air and heading towards Israel. This becomes one of the most shared videos of the day. A passenger in a civil airliner from a great distance captures this very, very dramatic image of Iranian missiles headed towards Israel. Now let's show you an NDTV exclusive Maxar satellite images of precisely what Israel struck that has changed the game entirely. This is the first time in history that Israel has done what it has always wanted to do, hit Iran's nuclear capability. It has hit places like Natanz, it has hit places like Kermanshah. The facility has been damaged, the storage facility and tunnel entrances. Then you've got Shiraz, where fires burn at this particular missile facility. In Kane, again, damage has been incurred, and it has been confirmed in satellite images. The famous Shiraz base, where fires burn at this electronics production facility. So things are very, very precarious at this point of time. with Israel going where it has never, ever gone before. And now let's talk about an Iranian weapon that has become front and center in some of the most dramatic pictures that have been captured by Israeli citizens during that missile attack in Tel Aviv and in other Israeli towns. The weapon you see is so fast in some of these pictures, it's practically invisible, only a streak of light, and that is Iran's Fatah 2 hypersonic missile. It sports a range of 1,500 kilometers. Remember, from Iran to strike in Israel, these missiles have to fly all the way across Syria. The Fatah 2 is a hypersonic weapon capable of speeds of 15 times the speed of sound. Some of these, as you can see in these pictures, have managed to penetrate Israeli air defenses. This is not the first time that this has happened, but many of them are likely to have been intercepted by air defenses, but some of them perhaps have not. And joining us now to answer that question and to look at the possibility of this exchange between Iran and Israel escalating into something larger, Benny Binyamin is a former Israeli soldier. He's also a commentator, joins us live from Tel Aviv. Benny, good to see you. Thank you very much for being with me. Gabriel Narona is president of Polaris National Security. He's a former State Department advisor on Iran. Gabriel, thank you very much for being with me. Benny Binyamin, I want to come to you first. We've seen a very, very drastic escalation in the exchange between Iran and Israel. We did see the air defense alerts over Israel yesterday. Virtually the entire country was covered in those alerts which citizens got on their mobile phones. What is your view, Benny, on whether this is likely to escalate into something bigger?
First of all, we have a good news today that Iran is supposed to come back to the negotiation table with the US. That is the news that we got it before 20 minutes.
That's right.
We don't want war. We don't want that the Iranians will aim their missiles or their nuclear bombs, whatever they want to do, on Israel. That's what we want. Nobody will fight for us. We are fighting for ourselves. That's one thing. Second thing is, even though we are fighting, we are shooting, we are doing, our planes are doing very good job in Iran, but we are not aiming any civil, but they are aiming civil. Where you can take, Israel is a very small country, you know that, where Iran is a very huge country, and it is not affected by the war. But we are really affected by the war. At least for last 3 nights, we are not sleeping at all at home. We are in shelters, and we are waiting for the bombs to come in, and whatever it is happening, you have seen on the TVs. I know that they don't have any sympathy on anybody. They love themselves. That's all. This regime, I know we were fighting for. We were fighting through their proxies once upon a time. It was Hezbollah, then it was Hamas, and it was Hamas. We are still fighting, and it is Houthis. And now, really, we are going to the head of the snake. Sorry to say this, that is Iran. We don't have any problems with the public there because really, public loves us. We know that. We had good relations before 1978. We were not having any problems. I don't know what their problem is. We are not neighbors. We are not anything. Why they must fight against us? We're a really small country that is giving lot to the world. I'm talking about lot to the world with all the efforts that we are doing for everything, medicines, agriculture, whatever we call it. We don't want this fight, but we must protect ourselves, and that's what we are doing now. I'm so sure that the things will not go long. I'm not sure that it will go so long. Because I know that we are getting them wherever it is possible.
So you're saying it's good news that they've come back to the negotiating table. We've seen these negotiations collapse before they even take off in the past, but there is every hope that this might actually result in something positive this time. Gabriel, what is your view with everything that we've seen over the last few days? Do you see this escalating further?
Thanks. No, I don't see this escalating beyond the two countries. Look, Russia has abandoned Iran. China has abandoned Iran. Hezbollah has abandoned Iran. It's not even attacking Israel. None of the Arab countries have any interest protecting Iran, in fact, behind the scenes, they're all very happy. They're all telling me, and their diplomats are saying, great, this is taking out one of our rivals who's tried to overthrow all of our governments, who's plotted into all of our governments. And so over the last several years, Iran has no real friends, and it's the conduct, again, of its terror proxies, of its trying to get a nuclear weapon, which has caused this. So the BRICS aren't going to do anything. Again, the Arabs aren't going to do anything. The other powers in the Axis aren't going to do anything. They're alone. And that's why they're trying to do these negotiations now. They had every opportunity to dismantle their own nuclear program and get full sanctions relief in exchange. We told them, you can go the easy way or the hard way. And they chose the hard way. They chose to try to retain their nuclear program and threaten Israel and threaten the United States. And this is the consequence. And what we're seeing is their military collapsing. What we're seeing is that they've only managed to kill maybe a dozen Israelis. They've only landed a few missiles into Israeli territory out of an arsenal of thousands of missiles. And so their whole strategic position has collapsed.
Okay.
So there are negotiations. They need to understand that they're coming in from a position of weakness and that they have really almost zero leverage to offer. And it's a question of, are they willing to surrender and admit that they made fatal miscalculations? Or are they going to try to stand by their pride and continue to try to negotiate? At this point, neither President Trump nor Israel has a lot of patience or has a lot of respect, frankly, for this regime.
Okay.
They've shown themselves losers on the military battlefield, and that's what they'll have to accept on the negotiating table.
Okay, so they will be approaching these negotiations, Gabriel, you say, from a position of weakness. They don't have many options. And what Israel has managed to do to their facilities, their air defense, you say has put them in a position where they don't have really a bargaining chip at the talks table. Benjamin, you know, Israel has done what it has never done before. It's always wanted to do it, which is to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. You know, we've just listed 5 of these. In many people's view, that alone is one of the reasons why some people think this could become bigger. Do you not think that? Because Iran has responded by also doing something that it hasn't particularly or specifically tried to do before, which is attack Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Benny.
I'm so sure that we are well protected in Israel for attacking us. We are taking our best. Of course, our friends, Americans, they're also helping us very much. But we are not worried about that. We are worried about our people all over the world. They can attack the people anywhere in the world. Today, we have about 150,000 people stuck all over the airports. And we are worried about that. Because these people are not, it's not country to country. It's country to the proxies, through the proxies, sorry. It's the country to the proxies. They will never fight face to face with us. If they will fight face to face, we know how to face them. But it is not that. That's what we are worried about. We are not worried about that we will not protect our country. Our country is well protected. And I'm so sure that we can do much more to them to harm and to bring them to the negotiation table. Of course, now it depends on our good friend, USA.
Gabriel, the fact that, you talked about how Iran and China haven't really reacted, to use your words, they've abandoned Iran in this way. Do you think that could change given the movements that are taking place around Iran and Israel at this point of time? Or do you think it's going to be a status quo? It will simply head to the negotiations table and that'll be the end of it?
I think it's what you said there at the end. I think it's they've made no positions. They've made no military movements. Look, for Russia, they may have been tempted, but they have no military capacity to give. Everything that they need is on the battlefield of Ukraine tied up. For China, they're concerned about driving a huge wedge between them and their Arab partners, between them and Israel. And again, they want to use their assets for Taiwan down the road. And so, yes, I think negotiations is where this ends eventually. Is all wars end in negotiations. The only wars that don't end in negotiations is when the regime collapses entirely. I'm not sure we're there yet. This regime is very weak. it is possible that it collapses entirely. But my concern is that there isn't a powerful force inside Iran that can that can pose a counterweight, that has any military force that could actually take up arms and overthrow the government. So yes, at some point, I think it's going to end in negotiations. But I think Israel thinks that it has air superiority right now, and it can just continue taking out more and more military targets and degrade Iran's capabilities even further until there's a reason to stop.
Last round of questions to you both. Benny, to you first. Has Israel met its military objectives in these few days of these deep attacks? 5 separate nuclear/missile facilities have been hit by Israeli air-launched missiles. Israel has a stated objective that as long as Iran has this long-range capability, which it has demonstrated during this exchange, Israel will never be safe. Do you believe that Israel has met all its military objectives in that sense, as far as deterrence is concerned?
No, we have not yet met. We are just, doing more and more, and we are aiming so many things. Of course, we need our big brother's help in this also. I think so, as per my knowledge. But I'm so sure that negotiation table with the Iranians, I don't believe them so much, because in Shia's law, they can lie and it is forgettable. So that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about what they will do. If Americans will sit with them for negotiation, I'm so sure that they will be out of nuclear weapons. But still, I'm worried about the negotiation and the things that they will deal with America. Because if America deals and America believes them, I'm scared about it. I'm really scared about it because, we started something. I think we must finish it. I mean, till the end, or at least to bring them on their knees. I'm sorry to say this. Otherwise, we have a problem.
What is Big Brother going to do, Gabriel? Israel believes that this is unfinished business as far as Iran is concerned, albeit the fact that there are, peace talks that should happen at this point of time. What is America's role going to be?
President Trump's first impulse is to protect American citizens and reduce the risk to them.
Yeah.
So he's made the decision that he doesn't want to participate in offensive operations for now. That could change. And that could change, especially if he sees that Israel's close to destroying Iran's nuclear program, but can't get all the way there. Then that makes a lot of sense for the United States to get involved. But what Israel's asking for the most is simply help on its defensive operations, helping intercept missiles, helping protect Israel's cities from Iranian missiles. So that's the most important thing. We're doing some. We can probably do a little bit more. And I think that's going to be the main role that you'll see the United States do. The only question is, do we help Israel take the kill shot to end the Fordo nuclear program and other sites that are very deep under mountains? That is the last question I think that the United States will need to decide in this particular war.
Gabriel, Narona, and Benny Benjamin, it's been a pleasure speaking to the both of you on a story that obviously goes beyond Israel and Iran. It has regional, global implications. It's good to hear, of course, and report that there could be peace talks to bring this particular escalation to an end. But we still have to recognize that all it takes is one small provocation for things to flare up all over again and become much, much bigger. But I appreciate your words on India Matters tonight. Thank you very much, gentlemen, to the both of you.
Thank you.
Now remember, peace at all costs is very, very desirable. After 3 days of missiles, destructive weapons flying between these two formidably armed countries in West Asia, the question now is, could things potentially get much worse? Now, let's not just spin castles in the air. Let's talk about what war studies professionals who look at this region very closely have to say by way of a simulation of how things could step by step get much worse. Now, we've covered wars, we've covered escalations, but what we're seeing unfold between Iran and Israel, and we hope it ends, isn't just another episode in the Middle Eastern volatility. It's a slow motion sprint to the unthinkable. And here's how it could happen. I must warn you, this is only a simulation. We do not wish this. It's very unlikely that it will happen. But step by terrifying step, here is at least one scenario of how this could roll out. Step one, let's begin. Israel launches a second strike deep into Iran, targeting its underground Fordow nuclear site, which it has already attacked. This is no longer preemptive, it's strategic decapitation. Step two, Iran retaliates with a direct ballistic missile barrage on its capital, Tel Aviv, breaking decades of restraint and drawing first blood in Israeli cities beyond what it has already done. Step three, the Hezbollah, which has been quiet so far, opens a northern front from Lebanon, launching thousands of rockets into Israel. Israel faces once again a multi-front war not seen since 1973. Step number four, Israeli fighter aircraft retaliate with deadly precision in Lebanon, in Syria, striking IRGC bases in Damascus and Aleppo in Syria. Iran bleeds, Syria burns. Step five, the US Navy joins in. Tomahawk cruise missiles from the Arabian Sea knock out Iranian radar sites guarding the very, very important Strait of Hormuz. Step six, Iran hits back hard. US bases in Iraq and the UAE come under coordinated drone and missile attack attempts. American soldiers are potentially harmed. The red line is crossed, and that's where America steps in. Step seven, Saudi and Emirati missile defenses go hot. Regional militaries mobilize. The Gulf Cooperation airspace becomes a theater of full-blown war. Step eight, Israel, with US ISR support, that's intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance support, bombs Iranian missile silos near Kerman and Mashhad with F-35 stealth fighters. Tehran is stunned. Step nine, China deploys warships to the Strait of Hormuz to protect Iran, citing maritime security as well. It warns against any oil blockade because that would destroy China's economy. Energy routes are now front lines. Step 10, Russia warns NATO to stay out of it. It moves strategic assets into Syria. The proxy war is now global. The superpowers have stepped in. But that's just half of what could happen. The next chain, things get even worse. Step 11, Iran launches a swarm of Shahid drones on Israeli airfields, blinding its air operations temporarily. Step 12, Israel tries to end it. It launches a decapitation strike aimed at Iran's top leadership. Tehran sees this as an existential act. Step 13, Iran declares total war and formally closes the Strait of Hormuz. 1/3 of the world's oil stops moving. Just imagine that. Step 14, the United States launches a full-scale air campaign from its aircraft carriers and from the Diego Garcia Island group in the Indian Ocean. The skies over Iran light up with fire. Step 15, Israel issues chilling language around the Samson option. It's a veiled nuclear posture for national survival, a last resort military doctrine that Israel is reported to have. Step 16, Iran responds with a missile test capable of reaching Europe. The message, if we go down, we don't go down alone. Step 17, Russia moves nuclear-capable bombers into Syria, a threat to NATO, to Israel, and to the global order. Step 18, then the unthinkable. Israel drops a low-yield tactical nuclear bomb on an Iranian Revolutionary Guard facility in the Iranian deserts, a first since Hiroshima. Just think about a simulation that actually includes something like that. Step 19, Iran responds not with a missile, but with a dirty bomb smuggled in by a proxy and detonated in an Israeli city. Contamination, chaos, carnage. And finally, step 20, the world economy collapses, oil hits $500 a barrel, refugee floods begin, the UN declares a catastrophic threat to civilization. World War III is no longer a theory, it's live. Now, this is not meant to be alarmism in case you think I'm pushing things. This is a simulation based on capability, what we've seen happen and be threatened in the past, official and formal doctrine, and pattern. And one more thing, intent. The steps are in place, the missiles are ready in the air, both sides question the existence of the other, and one miscalculation from Tehran, Tel Aviv, Washington, Moscow, or Beijing could set it all off permanently.